to our very first Thursday of February, I guess, right? I can't believe 2016 is already going. January is gone so fast, and makes me think how fast life goes and how important it is for us to take advantage of the time that we have, because that's the most precious thing we have is time. So, to learn, so let's make the best of it, because, and that's why it's so special here, so to remind us of the good things, how important life is, how important time is, and if we keep going with faith, that's what we'll be talking about tonight. So, welcome everyone. Very happy to see everybody here. Familiar faces back again. So make sure everybody has the phone disconnected or off, so we can start our service tonight. And knowing that this house is being prepared by our mentors with a lot of love, a lot of care for everyone that's sitting here tonight. And as soon as you come into the door, you know that we're being assisted. So let's take advantage of this time and, let's connect. So let's see what we have as a message tonight. Get used to the truth. The habit of the white lie, also called an innocent or social lie, will lead you to more serious lies and push you into the swamp of calumny and frequent cursing. A spark produces conflagrations similar to those produced by creeping flames. Great crimes originate in tiny infractions beyond the reach of justice, allowing the evil to worsen. Be morally severe with yourself. Do not embark in the canoe of convenience. Everyone is responsible for himself, and his acts are engraved in his individual conscience. Be yourself in constant moral progress. So that's our moral progress, as I was saying, as you go to life, we got to work on that. Work of your own evolution, your own progress, moral progress, and, you make the best of this reincarnation, this time and this opportunity that we have here. So let's see. Then I'm going to invite everybody for our initial prayer. So let's start by taking a deep breath. Feel the energy that surrounds us here. Let's in the spirit say hello to the one on the right, the one on the left, to everyone around you with vibrations of love. So we can all together encounter our higher power, make a connection with our mentors, our guardian angels. Father, we thankful and grateful for being here tonight. We are thankful and grateful for the angels, the guardian angels that help us here tonight on the roads, leaving our jobs, our tasks, so we could be here tonight for this special moment. We thank for our lives, for the opportunity to be here in this lifetime for our own progress. Help us to understand the issues that we encounter every day and know that everything comes for our own good. Help us renew our faith so we will know that we're being assisted, that we are in the right path. Help us to understand the teachings of Jesus Christ. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, mentors, the mentors of the house, for this house. We ask for our blessings. Make us strong so we can be as instruments of your love and spread this love to everyone around us. May everyone that's here tonight leave here renewed so they can better face the life out there. Protect our families, our friends, and ourselves. From our hearts we say, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive our trespassers as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. We ask now permission to our mentors to open our service for tonight by inviting our friend Alturi, who's going to present faith. Thank you. Oh, sorry. It's not Alturi, it's Peter. Thank you.
You look so much.
I know. They're sitting together. We don't know. They're confused.
Nobody knows that, but we're actually twins. So that's okay. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming. May the blessing of God be with us. And I have faith that we're going to get out of here better than we start. Like every time we step in any place that we come with the intention to get better in a sense of heal not just our intelligence, but mostly our emotional intelligence. Because what happened is we are 7 trillion individuals on the face of planet Earth. We are so smart. We are so capable. And all of a sudden, we catch ourselves doing a diet and eating a chocolate cake at midnight in front of the fridge with the little light feeling like a thief. And where's the intelligence on that? The thing is, we don't understand the role that emotions play in our lives. And just to give a little example, this comes from Harvard University. 95% of our choices, 95% of what we choose, it's not conscious. It comes from our unconscious level, meaning that every kind of stimulus, every kind of sensation, everything counts for us to make up our minds. And we don't even realize, because we create a lot of systems in our body to save energy. A simple thought process consumes energy in a form of glucose, and we have to save it. So we build a lot of paths, a lot of shortcuts, and we respond to those shortcuts. And that's where our little trouble starts, because mainly those shortcuts that we have since the early ages of our lives creates a habit. And this habit continuously creates a belief. And so far, we believe in things that are not real. But we create that without knowing. So the lecture, the little piece that our sister read to us, it's like it's inviting us to be truth. But the problem about being truth is that sometimes being truth means being against somebody that you like, because that person is saying something that doesn't fit to your internal truth. But you want to be with them. You want to be one among the society. You don't want to be the one that stays to the side. So all of a sudden you catch yourself telling a little, which is really not a political right, but a white lie. I don't know, they call it white lie, but I don't want to even know that. So you catch yourself saying a lot of white lies just because you want to pertain. You want to have the sense that people like you. And sometimes for people like you, you have to ignore your internal truth. Don't say it. Be polite, quote unquote polite. And all of a sudden, yes, what is the truth? The truth is, look around yourself. Look to the others. The truth is, human being is the best machine, is the best being that God created on the surface of planet Earth. And even though we don't feel like it, you know what? You know why? Because we don't have faith in ourselves. It's easy to have faith on the others, but not in ourselves. Why don't we have faith in ourselves? Why don't we believe in ourselves? What is the truth behind that lack of faith? Let's analyze a little, shall we? Let's see if it works. Yeah, it works. Pretty good. Unshakable faith is the only that which can stand face to face with reason in all epochs of humanity. This is on the Gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 7, item 7. Chapter 19, item 7. What that means? That means that you don't have a blind faith. You don't believe because somebody told you to believe. You believe because you know that is there, even though you can't see. Answer me that. Why in the same family you have this lady crippled in a wheelchair and her sister, a cheerleader, that every single guy want to date? And that's too different, isn't it? So what is the explanation if both are nice, both, respect family, both do whatever it needs to be done to be a great human being? Oh, I know. God is unfair. Doesn't convince any one of us, does it? If God is fair, and there's no fairness in this relation, what's going on? Oh, it is how it is. This is not reason. You're not reasoning about what's happening. What's happened? If something happens in front of you and you cannot explain, and there's nothing in the world in this incarnation that can explain, wow, maybe that comes from a previous incarnation. This is reasoning. This is understanding. This is trying to, make your thought process going on. And not just accepting because somebody told you so. We've been so used to accept information because that's from the ancient times what happened. We used to elect. It doesn't matter for the Catholic Church or a synagogue or whatever. We used to elect somebody to be on the podium and look at it. Let me put once you are in an elevated position from everybody, your brain instantly tells, oh, he's something because he's elevated. And then if you talk at the same level, things change in our perception. But then you come here and you get some stripes and stars for nothing. That's our perception. That's how it works. So we used to give permission to the priest, the pastor, so far and so on, to talk to God for us. And as a matter of fact, it was more convenient than really a thought process. But all of a sudden, does it work? It didn't work, did it? We're still the same. It's not because we go to a church and we hear somebody giving a sermon, somebody praying or something that we're going to change. We're just going to change when we understand that the power to change comes from inside of us. When you feel that you have this power, meaning that you start to believing in yourself, meaning that you start having faith in yourself. And that is the unshakable faith, because you're reasoning, why am I capable to do this or that or that? And that's the time that you start getting stronger and doing your things. But without reasoning, it's like a sandcastle. It's just waiting for the wave, and we will go down. So let's build our structure in faith, in reasonable faith, not in blind faith. Blind faith, according to some theologians, we reason on belief, but not about faith. That's mostly what we got. We have some reason on why we believe. But faith is something that you have to have, no matter what. If you're not a faithful person, you're not good. And as we are creatures of social habits, we crave so much to pertain. We crave so much to be included. And all of a sudden, we don't go against that. Oh, I have to have faith. I'm a faithful guy. I have faith. In what? If you don't have faith in yourself, how can you have faith for something else? If you don't have love, if you don't love yourself, how can you love somebody else? If you don't have forgiveness, if you don't forgive yourself, how can you forgive somebody else? It's just like a bank, per se. If you don't have anything in your account, you're going to give a check. Guess what? It will bounce back. But the problem is that the interest is way higher than just what we pay in planet Earth. We pay a lot more in emotional interest than in money. So let's try not to give bouncing checks of emotions to the others. Let's check your balance before you try to give something, especially when it comes to faith. Sorry, I didn't change the slide, but on the bottom it's reason, on the top it's faith. Meaning that that's the vision, that's how most religions used to see faith. It's two different ways. Faith doesn't mix to reason. And that's what we preach, that's what we say, that's what Spiritism say. We have to reason. It's reason with faith. Otherwise, there's no faith at all. Faith, they say, is a virtue, a gift of transcendent reason. Transcendent reason. Why you need to transcend something? Stay here. You don't need to go anywhere. Stay with your emotions. Stay with your reasoning. That is why many people confuse emotion with faith. And as we don't know what ticks our emotions, what trigger our emotions, then our faith is as fragile as our emotions. It's just like a roller coaster, isn't it? There is a story about this gentleman or this farmer that has one beautiful horse. And the storm came, and the horse escaped. And he was devastated because he really loved the horse. All of a sudden, 2 days after, the horse comes back with another horse, much beautiful than the first one. But it was wild. So everybody tried to domesticate this second horse, up to a point that the farmer's son tried to do it, fell, broke his leg in so many pieces that they were afraid that we're never going to be able to walk again. And the happiness of having two horses, when the horse came back, goes back again to the despair. I shouldn't take my son there. What am I going to do? Well, the country that the farmer lives went to the war. And army was selecting all the young ones to go to the war. But this kid has his leg broken. And the farmer was happy again because he was not able to go to the war. And that's how we are. We have a roller coaster of emotions. If we put our happiness in something external, represent as a horse or go to the war or something like that, we were never going to be happy because it's not external. It's what it is inside of us that can make us happy or not. It's believing on ourselves that's going to make us happy or not in believing in somebody else. Of course, I want to get the job. Of course, I want to get that house. But if I don't, it's not that's going to make me happier or the opposite. I'm just going to reasoning about that. I couldn't get it because of this, and that's about it. But I still have the capability of doing if I wanted to do so. Emotion is the spiritual vibration that the noble deeds arouse souls already with some sensitivity. So, emotion is nice. Emotion is something that when we understand, it's beautiful. But we are, most of the time, lack on controlling our emotions because we don't understand those emotions and it's really hard. So there's no way to mistake emotion by faith. It's common to hear people say, I was so touched by the music, by the atmosphere in the church, that I saw the Virgin in front of me. It was a miracle. Now I have faith. No, you saw something that probably couldn't even happen, but this is not because of that you're going to have faith. If you're going to have faith only when something material happens in front of you, then you don't have faith. You have to see to believe. Just like St. Thomas, you have to see to believe. And some things you don't see. Why do you have faith in God? Why? Is there a God? Do you believe in God? Is there a God? Yeah? Is there a God? Sure. Did you see Him? Did you met Him? Hang out with Him? So, why do you know this, that He's a God? You feel it, right? Inside of you, right? There's some things that we don't need to see. We're reasoning. Wow, why planet Earth is just like that? Why the sun goes up every day? Why the flower bloom and then die? And bloom it again and die? Who creates all of these? That's reasoning. We don't need to see that because we're seeing around ourselves. We don't need to meet God. I'm not particularly, convinced that I need to go right now. I can wait a little more years to meet Him or whoever is with Him. So at this point, faith is something that doesn't need to be attached to something material, but it needs to be reasoning. The emotional state is transitory, while faith is permanent. That's what is behind that. Today we're happy. In 5 minutes something happened, we're not that happy. And so far and so on. It's hard to control our emotions all the time. Faith, on the other hand, is something that if you have it, you have it. It's not going to change because of your mood. It's not a mood swing. It's something that you accrue or not. Emotion analyzed and guided by intelligence can be valuable help to change for better. If not enlightened by reason, it can lead to fanaticism, the so-called blind faith, which is the denial of the faith itself. In the medieval century, Christians went to the war in the name of God to kill the ones that didn't have the same faith. You don't have the same faith in me, you're going to die. This is blind faith. There's no reasoning on that. And I can tell you right off the bat, pretty much 60, if not 70% of the crusaders didn't want to go to the crusade. But what's going to happen if they don't go? First, they're going to die, either or. And second, they're going to die and feeling ashamed of themselves because they didn't represent their families and stuff and honor and whatever emotions they cover the blind faith with to make people to go to die. Have you ever watched those movies about Civil War or before that when in Europe when they had the shotguns? There was a genocide. The front line stand still to get a bullet in their chests. What in the world is going to convince you to be there? Tell me that. Oh, the honor to die for your country. I'm sorry. Call me a deserter or whatever you want to call. I don't feel any honor to get a bullet in my chest for my country. Not in that way, because I know that this is ridiculous. Let me hide. Let me go to some place. Let me be a sniper. Whatever. But you're going to put me in front of the gun and say, yeah, stay there. My God, how come? Just because you don't understand what's happening, you just respond to whatever you think you believe. This is blind faith. What is the example of blind faith on this century? Can somebody give me an example? ISIS. They keep dying to have a better life in the afterworld. And we know by studying, by reasoning, that if you kill yourself before the time that you have to discarnate, it's not going to be pleasant on the other side. And if you kill people, dying is going to be a lot more unpleasant. So they don't reason. They don't understand that. They just bought something that their religious leader told them, inflate them with emotion, and throw them, go and die for the cause. No. This is blind faith, and unfortunately, we're still seeing around, but we know pretty much that this is because we are in the last cycles of a planet of proofs that planet Earth is, planet of tests. We're going to change to a regeneration planet. And in order to do that, the divine providence needs to give chance for the spirits that don't incarnate for a long, long time to incarnate one more time here and try to redeem themselves. That's why you see so many people that doesn't have, you say, oh my, how can they do that? How can they have so lack of sense of humanity, of respect? They are old spirits. They are spirits that are having the last chance. After that, they're not going to reincarnate in planet Earth because planet Earth is going to change. The polarity. Understand everything through the lenses of energy. If the energy changes and you don't have the same energy, there's no way to get communication or to incarnate again, and that's what's going to change. That's what's going to change in planet Earth. We're going to change the energy of a psychosphere around the planet, and that we're not going to permit people to come, souls to incarnate, souls that doesn't have the same vibration. They're not at the same level anymore. But before doing that, and because God is so merciful, He's trying, the spirits are trying to put those souls here. And unfortunately, what we've seen is that it seems that it's going to get worse before it gets better. But whoever ever try homeopathy here knows pretty much that sometimes the first symptom is to get the disease, and after that, it goes forever. So one thing's kind of the same. Sometimes it needs to, arise to don't have it anymore. So let's hope for that. And let's keep faith on us. Let's keep the faith on what we do, that we're doing right. Blind faith does not examine anything, accepting without control both false and true. Whatever I'm being told, I'm going to take it. And that's about it. I'm not going to measure. I'm not going to reasoning about. I'm not going to make questions. I'm not going to do anything. The way it is the way it is. Why? Because that's the way it is. I don't think that in our brains, in our emotion, we have space for that. But there's a lot of people that still does. And that's the world that we live in. So we need to understand that as well. Because the Crusaders are here in another form. And sometimes, I assume, when I watch UFC, Cage and stuff, I find myself, yeah, hit him. It's like, what? It's totally against, but we have that inside of us. Try to deny that. This is ridiculous. Because no, I'm a Mr. Goody Two Shoes. No, I'm not. I have the old man inside of me. It's like the Minotaur. The Minotaur, it was a creature that they used to say that the body was from an animal and the torso up was from a human being. Sometimes we feel just like a Minotaur. Sometimes we feel like it's not the Minotaur, it's the guy that has the, Centaur. Sorry. What's the name? Satyrs, yeah, that's a representative from the Greek, yeah. But you get the image. Sometimes we're just like that. But the thing is, don't deny it, because it's gonna still there. Just recognize that you have that, and try to minimize if you can. And if you can't, try to reframe yourself to use the 4 legs downstairs and use the head upstairs. And we're going to do it all way better. Understand to believe. To believe is not enough just to see. It's essential to understand. Because sometimes what we see is not the truth. And we see that all the time, right? With the sun, you have some images that are not there, that are distorted. And when you see the rainbow, is the rainbow there for real? Did you ever touch the rainbow? If you do, don't tell us, because you have a pot of gold, so keep it for yourself. The dogma of blind faith produces a large number of unbelievers today. Reason of faith, based on facts and logic, leaves no room for doubt. And that's what Spiritism comes. And one of the beautiful things about Spiritism is that, please, do not believe in a single word that I'm saying. I'm a liar. Go and search for yourself. That's the thing about Spiritism. They don't want you to hear the guy up here and say, so be it, or amen. No. If you say so be it, understand why you're saying so be it. So be it means whatever it is, because there is no other way to be like different than that. It's not to say, oh, it is this way, whoever going to be this way. No, that's two different ways of understanding things. We need to understand that as well. When you say so be it, it's just because you understand that you have limitations. And as much as you try to change a wood by carving it, you're not going to change the property. It's still going to be wood. Still going to be vulnerable to whatever creatures can eat that. So you don't change the inside. You can change the outside. You can polish like you polish a diamond. But only time and incarnations will do the trick. Like if the wood goes down today to the soil and centuries pass, it will become what? Charcoal. And from the temperature, the heat, the pressure, all of a sudden, in one beautiful day, it will be a diamond. But how much time or how much incarnations that will take? And that's the question. But does the wood believe sometime in his incarnation that it will change to be a diamond sometimes? That's the thing. God said, you're all perfect. You're all angels in my view. We don't believe that. We see ourselves and we are so fast in judge the others as we judge ourselves. And say, how can I be an angel? How, if I do this, this, and that? Well, you're not. You are an angel in training. You are trying to be perfect. And you are incarnating time and time again to get better. That's why our sister said, don't throw away the chance that you have in this life to be better. That's a precious time. Use it wisely. Help others. Help yourself by helping others. But if you think about, I'm going to help him because then it's going to help me, that doesn't work. But help others. Try to see how much one little gesture can go in your day. If you see a peer that is not very happy or is frustrated or is being through a lot in his personal life, and you can give a compliment, a single compliment, do it. And guess what? You're going to feel a lot better. And you don't know why. Well, I'll tell you right off the bat, because we are made of atoms. Atoms are polarized by energy. When you give positive energy, you receive positive energy, and you know the outcome. But it's so difficult because we don't stop to reasoning about it. We have to reason about it to do this kind of stuff. He did not nullify the art of thinking. On the contrary, he was the intriguing master in this art. Christ did not discourse on one unintelligent faith. For him, first we should exercise the ability to think and reflect before believing. Then we start to believe without a doubt. This summarizes what I said so far. And this is one book that talks about the intelligence of Christ. And tells by his, I'm going to show the book and choose slides from now. It tells that he was the greatest psychologist that ever stepped on planet Earth, because he knew so pretty much that words we're not doing anything. Or we're not going to do the trick. Or we're not going to change people. You change people by touching their hearts. And then you give the instruction. But first you need to create the emotion. That's what coaches do all the time. What the coaches do is like they create a emotion to create motion. Continue motion, create a habit. Continue habit, create a belief. And there you go. You change a bad belief for a good belief. And if everything was that easy, everybody wouldn't have any problem in the world. So it's not that easy. But the principle is that you can change yourself by reasoning, but not having doubts, because you analyze the situation with all angles. And in the end, if there's nothing to be done, so be it. At this point, I cannot change. I have to accept. And there's another choice for you. Are you going to accept as a burden, or are you going to accept as a test? If you're going to accept as a test, then your brain is going to try to solve the puzzle. See the better way to go through the test. And if you pass the test, it won't come back to you. If you see it as a burden, 99.99999999%, it will come back to you. I leave 1% because we have to have hope, which is friends of faith. But let's be honest, it's 100%. If you don't understand that all the situations that we encounter in our lives are just a test for us to get better, it will come again and again and again. You can hide. Sorry, you can run, but you cannot hide, because you will find yourself again and again and again. So let's be a better student in life. And let's start scoring some grades that are enough for us to move on to another test and move on to another test, up to a point that maybe we don't have any more tests, or we are okay with the test that we just put in our pockets and they are good. The faith that Spiritism recommends is not a contemplative faith where we stand still waiting for God's help. Oh my God, listen to me, I need this, I need that. So every time you ask for something, think about it as well. What is the most number one question or thing that we ask God to give us? More than money? More than health? What is the first thing that every time we are angry, we say, give me what? Yeah, and guess what? Every time you ask patience, what God is going to give you? More tests. Because I never saw a guy from UPS to bring a box with an instant patient, just mix a water drink and you, boom, all of a sudden you are a patient person. No. The only way to have more patience is to have more tests, to test your patience. So every time you ask for patience, guess what? You're going to get more tests. Reasoning about that. That's what we need to do. So when you ask for something, you're going to get it, not the way that you think that's going to come. It's not, bling, you're a patient person. It doesn't work like this. Not in this world. Reason of faith comes from Jesus, the teachings of his gospel. As an educator of souls, he touched the feelings of those who heard him to make them understand the lessons. First, he touched the feelings. Then he gave the lessons. Because what stays with us are the laughs, the cries, the fear, the sympathy. The feelings that stick to us first. And then you can anchor, like they say in psychology, the information. It's just like when you hear that song, you remember an old boyfriend or an old girlfriend. Why? Because it's full of emotion. It's full of information. And that kind of emotion relates to that person. If you can do that to information that are really helpful for our lives, we can have a better life as well. Jesus never exploits anyone's emotion. That's another thing. He knows how to deal with emotion, but he never brainwashed anybody. He never exploited to the point that do what I want. As a matter of fact, Jesus used to teach by doing. He could be seated and say, you know what? Are you seeing that wave down there? Right in the horizon? Yeah, if you go to that wave right there, there's a bunch of fish. Go and fish and bring it back. I stay here. No, he jumped in the boat. It was the first one to throw the net. You have to teach how to fish, and then they can fish. But we think that, oh, show me again, and show me again. It's not going to work. You have to learn yourself. His lessons were always based on a dialogue by which he meant the rational examination of what he thought. Rather than making an eloquent and emotional speech on divine providence, he seeks, through questions, to take his listeners to think, to reason about God. And that's why sometimes people that are against his teachings and passages and stuff say, he was kind of antichrist sometimes. When they say, who's my mother and who's my brothers? And they're right in front of the house waiting for him. How come? He got memory short all of a sudden? He forgot who his mom was and brothers? What was the question behind that? When he did that kind of, he threw that kind of question to the crowd, what was he thinking for real? Everybody around us are brothers and sisters. So don't tell me that my mom and my brothers want to see me if I'm seeing all my brothers around, my sisters around me. And I'm assisting them. And I will have time to go and stay with my mom and my brothers as well. So by questioning in a very, very, very different way, he made people think. Sometimes they didn't think it well, but sometimes they really understood what he was trying to teach. And the book is this one, The Greatest Psychology Who Ever Lived, Jesus and the Wisdom of His Soul. Mr. Baker, PhD, psychologist, compared a lot of his thoughts with some patients that he had, and he tried to analyze through the Bible and some teachings of Jesus what was behind the position and what was behind the problem that that particular person had. It's an amazing book. It's not Spiritist, though, but it analyzes Christ in a different light as well. And I understand that we Spiritists need to understand more than just what is offered to us all the time. So this is a different perspective. But use your reasoning and use your knowledge about what is right and what is wrong. Because everybody, when you write a book, you write what you think is right. This is his perspective of what is right. Whoever wrote the Bible didn't copy Jesus word by word, especially because they wrote a long time after. And even if they had a great memory, it won't be that, accurate. So it's an interpretation. All the books are mostly like an interpretation. Achieving faith is to achieve the possibility of no longer say, I believe, but say, I know. With all the values of reason, touched by the feelings of light, Emmanuel. It's the possibility of no longer say, I believe, but say, I know. Unshakable faith. I know for sure that I can do it. I know for sure that I have the strength. I know for sure that I can get there. And even if I don't, I know that I could. Something happens and I didn't, but I know that I have this on me. I trust that. I have faith on me because I study myself, I understand myself, and I know that I'm capable of. I just don't believe. Believe is something that can be either or. When you know, you know. Because you have so little faith, truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. What was telling us, let's translate for nowadays, that space is like a Wi-Fi. It is invisible, but has the power to connect you to what you need. Our faith is like a Wi-Fi. And let's try to understand that. We are about to have our passes and to have our prayer, and we're going to give some energy. We're going to mentalize some good stuff. When we send our energy to some person, that particular person will feel it. When you think that you can cure somebody, that can set you that discipline because they could not cure some of the patients that were there to be cured. And they said, why can't we do that? And what could you do? Well, can he respond that? Because you don't have faith in yourself. So when you go to have your passes, please don't stay here like, yeah, and tomorrow I have to do this. And when I come out of here, I'm going to do that. Oh, let me check my Facebook. Did she answer that? It's a two-way around. If you want to get healed, if you want to get the harmony that comes from the passes, you stay in tune with the energy. Otherwise, it's not going to work. You have to prepare yourself to receive energy. And the passistas, the pass givers, need to prepare themselves in order to give as well. Need to believe in themselves, and you need to believe that you're going to receive. Otherwise, you're going to receive zero, nothing, nada. I repeat, faith is both human and divine. And if all incarnates could be persuaded of the force which they carry within themselves, and if they wish to place their will at the service of this force, they will be capable of producing these so-called miracles. They are nothing more than the development of a human faculty. Most of these miracles that were produced by Christ, by Jesus, were nothing more than manipulating energy, plasma, and some other energy forms that nowadays we're getting to know. But at those days, there were miracles. You know, what is the greatest miracle of God? You know that? You know what it is? Look around. Look around. Look around, please. Look around. Look to the back. Look to the back. Tim. Every one of us. We are the miracles of God. But we need to have faith in that. Otherwise, it's another incarnation that we're going to live, not understand. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Peter. Much appreciated. We're going to do our moment of meditation, and I'm going to attempt to guide us around faith tonight, try to stay with our topic. I was listening to, how many of you ever heard of Cardiac Radio? Ever heard of it? It's every Saturday morning. I think it's 11:30. It's broadcast.
Sires?
Well, it's cardiacradio.com is the website, but it's an hour-long show with different topics. A lot of it's spiritism, some of it's mainstream research and different things. But anyways, I was listening to, when I drive now, I try to listen to that or other stuff instead of talk radio. And tonight, I was listening on the way home, or on the way down here, it was about meditation from a PhD psychologist who is also a meditation instructor. And she kind of defined meditation in its broadest sense as our way to connect, right? Letting go of everything else and just connecting with our thoughts and with whatever we view as God, if you will, and settling down and quieting ourselves. So we're going to try to do that tonight, and we hope that you try to do it yourself a little bit each day. So if we could turn on some music.